When it comes to physique development, biceps are among the most popular that give that body the full muscular look. And despite the arms being one of the most used areas in general exercises, the biceps can also be very stubborn to grow, and this can be down to a number of reasons. In this video, we are going to look at the 5 most common mistakes I see on a daily basis in the gym, and also describe how you can increase your results by being aware of the things you should and shouldn't be doing. Mistake number 1 is not using a full range of motion. Although partial reps can play a role in targeting certain areas of the bicep, there are also several studies that show a full range of motion is far superior for bicep development. One 2012 study by Pinto and colleagues found that in 40 male subjects using a full range of motion during a bicep curl led to significantly greater hypertrophy in the biceps and 25% increase in strength. The subjects using partial reps had a 16% increase in strength with minimal amount of growth. You can help implement a full range of motion by concentrating on contracting the tricep when the arms are at the bottom of the movement. This helps fully straighten the arm. Then when curling, focus on the forearms pushing as hard as possible against the bicep. Mistake number 2 is letting other muscles do the work. Whilst the bicep curl is considered an isolation exercise, there are still other muscles playing a role in the movement, but it is important that these muscles do not take over while executing the lift. There are 3 main culprits for this. They are the upper traps, front deltoids, and forearms. The first common mistake I see during the bicep curl is shrugging of the shoulders. This is very easy to spot, and either the shoulders raise towards the ears or the head tilts forward during the lift. This will take a lot of the tension from the bicep into the traps. To stop this from happening, focus on depressing the shoulder blades down whilst remaining tall throughout the lift. The second common mistake is that your front deltoids are taking over. An easy indication that your front deltoids are doing the work is when your elbows move forward as you curl. Although a few degrees of movement is normal and expected during a curl, as the bicep also assists in shoulder flexion, when the elbows move too far forward, this becomes a major problem as the tension is taken away from the biceps. So instead, focus on keeping your elbows locked by your sides throughout the curl. This will enable your biceps to take a far greater load and minimize the involvement of the front deltoids. The last common mistake is letting your forearms take over. This happens when the wrists flex during the curl. This not only takes tension from the bicep, but also puts your wrists at a disadvantage. Instead, keeping your wrist neutral so the knuckle stays in line with the forearm will place more tension on the bicep and also increase wrist stability. Mistake number 3 is not targeting both heads of the bicep. The bicep gets its name from the Latin term meaning 2 heads, bicept. But most commonly these are trained as one muscle movement, arm flexion, when actually the biceps do more than just flex. The bicep brachii has 3 main functions. These are flexion of the elbow, supination of the hand and forearm, and they also assist partially with flexion of the shoulder. To train this muscle, an exercise like supination curls would be perfect as they cover both functions of the brachii. Although the brachialis does slightly assist the brachii with supination of the hand and forearm, its major function is flexion of the elbow, and it takes over 50% more recruitment than the brachii. To train this muscle, it's more ideal to limit the amount of brachii supination, so keeping palms inwards or down like a hammer curl would be more efficient. Whilst these are just basic movements of the muscle, it is also worth noting that changing tension angles of a muscle is also extremely important for maximal results. For a top 5 rundown of unique exercise, please check out my top 5 unique bicep exercises. Mistake number 4 is no mind to muscle connection. A recently published 2018 study by Schoenfield and colleagues analysed the effects of mind to muscle connection for muscle growth of 30 college-aged men. All participants performed 4 sets of arm curls and leg extensions for an 8 to 12 rep max on 3 non-consecutive days per week, with the sets being carried out to muscular failure. The mind to muscle group were instructed to squeeze the muscle during each rep, whereas the other group was simply instructed to get the weight up. After 8 weeks, the mind to muscle group experienced almost double the bicep growth compared to the other group. So rather than just trying to curl the weight up, fully focus on the bicep during the curl. Ask yourself, am I squeezing this as hard as I possibly can? If you were to execute this on each and every rep, you would majorly enhance your growth. Mistake number 5 is that you are not eating right. It is no secret that nutrition is the most important factor when it comes to your results. Just like a caloric deficit is essential for optimizing fat loss, a calorie surplus is also important for maximizing muscle growth. Although various studies do show hypertrophy is still possible whilst in a caloric deficit, a surplus of calories will maximise your growth potential. There is no denying the fact that consuming protein is important for maximising muscle hypertrophy. A common mistake is people rely on the same sources of proteins over and over, and this can cause you to be deficient in some key amino acids that are needed to complete your protein profile. Without the essential amino acids in place, it becomes much harder for your body to build new muscle. So choosing whole proteins with a higher bioavailability is advised. When it comes to the amount and frequency of proteins, for maximal protein synthesis, it is advised spacing the proteins out throughout the day and consuming roughly 1 gram per pound of overall body weight. Here are the key take-home points of this video. Number 1, use a full range of movement. Number 2, ensure other muscles are not taken over by correcting your form. Number 3, use exercises that target both heads of the bicep and mix tension angles. Number 4, focus on feeling the bicep working during each rep. And lastly, number 5, make sure you're eating right with adequate protein. So guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope it shows that in this one I put a lot more time and effort into the editing, as I really wanted to put a good quality video together. So if you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up, make sure you're commenting on it, and there's going to be more great videos coming soon, so subscribe to the channel.